I have a feeling that this video is going to end up kind of sad. Hi folks, Harry here. If you have watched any of my videos, you will know that I have read a lot of Stephen King books. I've read every single Stephen King novel, I've read a large handful of his collections, and I've also read one of his non-fiction books. But I still have a couple of books left, and those are the books that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So I only actually have 3 Stephen King books that I have not yet read, and considering how massive his bibliography is, I'd like to think that's quite a big achievement. So 2 of the 3 books that I still have to read are collections, and the third is a non-fiction book. Also, I'm going to exclude things like The Plant, that story that Stephen King did on online, I can't remember what it was. I'm also going to exclude things like Nightmares in the Sky, that book that he did about gargoyles, and Faithful, that I have no interest in that, and I'm not going to count it as a proper Stephen King book. Those kind of books I will not be including here. But let's just get into the 3 books that I have left. Okay, right, editing Harry in here just to interject. I completely forgot. I've never read Storm of the Century. I don't own a copy of it, I've never found a copy of it, and I haven't read it, so I just completely forgot to mention that on this list. So the first of the last is Hearts in Atlantis. I guess I've kind of left this one till last, just because I don't really know much about it and not that many people talk about it. I know that it's a collection, I think it's 5 stories, I think it's 2 novellas and 3 short stories, or maybe it's 1 novella and 4 short stories, I'm not sure, but I know that there's 5 stories in this. And I think they're all set around the time of the Vietnam War, and I also think they have a few Dark Tower connections. That's all I really know about this book, and it's also really overexposed in this light. But yeah, that's basically all I know, and I really don't know what to expect, but I am excited because the people who have read Hearts in Atlantis, which is a very small amount because it's quite an obscure Stephen King book, but the people who have read it tend to give it positive reviews, so I am looking forward to it. Okay, number 2 is another collection, and it is 4 Past Midnight. Honestly, the only reason why I've put this one off so much and for so long is just because it's about 1,000 pages. This book is massive, and it's 4 novellas. Novellas! I'm sure that every single novella in here could be published by itself and be considered a novel. They're that long. So the 4 novellas that I believe to be in here are The Langoliers, Secret Window, Secret Garden, The Library Policeman, and The Sundog. I have a vague idea of what each of these stories are about, just from the sheer amount that people talk about them, because this is a relatively well-known Stephen King book with quite well-known stories. Like, especially The Langoliers and Secret Window, Secret Garden, those are very well-known because they have movie adaptations. I've also heard that The Library Policeman is messed up, and I've heard that The Sundog is set in Castle Rock, and apparently it's a kind of prequel to Needful Things, and I love Needful Things, so I'm hoping that this book will be good. I tend to really like Stephen King novellas. I think that they're really, really good and tend to be very well written. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. It's just, the only reason why I've put it off is just because it is so long. It is massive. But also I got this new edition the other day at the secondhand bookshop, and it is cracked. It's in really bad condition, but it's just got that really nice charm. You know when you get a really, really old paperback that's just completely beaten up, but you love it because it's in really bad condition. I love that. Okay, so the last Stephen King book that I have to read is probably going to be the next one that I'm going to read, and that is Danse Macabre. If there are any French speakers watching this video, please feel free to correct my pronunciation of that. It is so overexposed, hold on. That should be better. So Danse Macabre is a non-fiction book, and I believe it's just a collection of really long essays just about the horror genre. I've heard from some people that this is really, really boring, but I've heard from other people that it's really, really interesting. Personally, I'm really, really interested in this book because it's just about the horror genre, and I don't think there is a person more qualified who lives on this earth right now than Stephen King. Stephen King is the master of horror. He's basically formed what we now consider modern horror because he's so bloody prolific. So honestly, I can't think of a better person to write a book about the horror genre than Stephen King. But this book came out, I think, in the early 80s, possibly 1980. I think. It came out in 1981. Obviously in 1981, Stephen King was already very well respected because he published things like Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, The Stand, The Dead Zone, Firestarter. And I think his publisher just said, Steve, can you write a book about the horror genre, please? And he was like, all right. So he did it. And I'm very, very excited to read this. I've heard it's quite academic, like it's more Stephen King going down the academic, like essay route. His other non-fiction book, Non-Writing, is filled with kind of informal language and colloquialisms because he's just trying to tell you some stuff. But I think that Danse Macabre is a little bit more sophisticated, so I'm wondering how that's going to work. I also think it would be really interesting if Stephen King wrote like a Danse Macabre 2, like a sequel, because the horror genre has changed drastically in the last 40 years. And I would love to hear what Stephen King now thinks of the horror genre, now that it's changed so much. But yeah, Danse Macabre. I'm so excited to read this, and I think I might try and read it before Halloween. But Halloween's in like 5 days, so I don't know how achievable that is. Okay, so these are the only Stephen King books that I have left to read. And I think in total it's going to be a little bit under 2,000 pages. So after this is going to be the end of my Stephen King journey. After I've read those 3, I'm definitely going to make a video just documenting my Stephen King journey. So talking about where I started, where it ended, my favourite things along the way, my least favourite things along the way. I'm definitely going to make a video about that. I think it would be really important and really, really valuable for me to make a video like that, because it would be awesome to look back on in so many years' time and just think, wow, like, that's how that all started. So yeah, I'll do that, but you gotta give me time because I'm probably not gonna finish those until next year. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big fat thumbs up, and please consider subscribing for more bookish content from me. If you've read any of these books, then please do let me know in the comments down below and we can talk about them. If you want to follow me on any of my social medias, so that's my Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, Letterboxd, TikTok, all of that is in the description down below. And I will see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.